Hello, it's been a little while since I've been on the channel. I thought I'd come on and share a few thoughts with you regarding the ECAT situation. I don't think a large amount of change has happened since I was last on here, but I thought I'd share a couple of comments based on a question and answer that just came on the Journal of Nuclear Physics today. The question to Andrea Rossi was, are you worried about trolls who might get ECATs in their hands and then deceptively cause a fake accident to discredit the technology and obviously make a big controversy about it? And Ross's answer was, we too are worried about this, but I have faith. And I've, since following this story for the last 14 plus years, there's been a lot of controversy involved in this, and there have been numerous attempts to discredit Rossi and the ECAT, and he's still going, of course. That's never put him off. So I don't expect that he will be intimidated to the extent that he won't do the launch. But obviously, it's something that I imagine is something that they're concerned about and thinking about. I don't know if it's going to be will be a very big problem. I think one of the advantages that Rossi has at this point is that apart from a relative handful of people, he's not a well-known name in the world. People may have heard of him, people may have heard of the ECAT. I think a lot of people who heard about it back in 2011 or that period of time have probably moved on and basically dismissed it since it hasn't come on the scene. And maybe they just assumed it was one of those things that has died off and we'll never hear about again. As we know, that Rossi has never slackened his pace. In fact, I think he's increased it now, especially with other people, qualified and capable people now to help him. But in terms of world news, you'd never hear about the ECAT. So I don't think there's a terribly high level of expectation at this point. There are amongst those of us who are following it, but apart from us, I don't think there is a huge amount of expectation. So lower expectations generally mean your profile is lower, and you may not get the attention of the media or social media as much as you would if you were a big name. So I think that's in his favor. However, of course, when the technology does actually get released, we are in a different world altogether, because at that point, up to this point, really, the ECAT has never really left the control of Andrea Rossi and the people that he's trusted to work with him on it. But once it leaves their hands and it's out in the open, then things will obviously change, because anybody will be able to do any test that they want with the ECAT and use it for whatever purpose they want, regardless of whether it's being operated under the parameters that will be outlined in the data sheets. Rossi has said that you cannot do certain things with it. For example, you cannot open it up to see what's inside without violating your warranty. Obviously, people will do that. I don't think there's any doubt that will happen. And so, it'll be a completely different situation. But as far as people faking results, obviously that's possible. But I personally think that if there is enough diffusion of the technology into enough hands of people who are using it as it was intended to be used, I think that level of though that number of witnesses and testifiers will certainly be in his favor. Now, if there are problems with the technology, if there are if there are faults and it doesn't work, that obviously will the honest reviewers will report that, and that's very valid and necessary. But I think if the technology works as it is intended, I think, especially in today's world when everyone's got, well, not everyone, but many people have got their own YouTube channels, they've got their own social media platforms, they've got their Facebooks, they've got their TikToks, whatever. Everyone can be a publisher, and I think if you have a critical mass of multiple people reporting that it works well, I don't think that the trolls will have much impact, because if you go on Amazon or any product that's on, I don't think there's any product on Amazon that has got of any significance has got all 5-star reviews and no 1-star review. You're always going to find those people who've got something to complain about. But I think the preponderance of the evidence will be that yes, it works, and it's definitely a worthwhile technology. So I don't think the trolls will have that much of an impact. I think probably, I'm talking about your regular everyday trolls, people who just like to make mischief and like to make problems online. Now, obviously with the ECAT, it's a very it's a technology that is going to shake up a lot of big interests. We're talking about the energy industry, which is, you think about the oil, coal, gas, nuclear, solar, wind, whatever. The big companies obviously are going to, I think, feel threatened by this technology. And I think they probably, well, it wouldn't surprise me if they try and throw up roadblocks. On what grounds, I'm not sure. But I don't know quite what they would try to do. They actually, if they were smart, I think, they would try and get on board quickly. If they're in the energy industry and they see a new energy technology coming along very rapidly, that is obviously a threat to their interests. If you can't beat them, join them. So there might be moves from energy players to, somehow join forces with the ECAT if they realize that it's obviously it's got superior qualities to what they're currently offering. There might be attempts to regulate the ECAT. I could see that, especially if it's people consider it being used in destructive ways. But once you get politicians involved and lobbyists involved, I suppose anything can happen. But I think for publicity's sake, one of the things that Rossi has in his favor and his licensee is that I think a lot of the early pre-orders that have been placed, which are supposed to be delivered first, are going to be from people who are supporters of his. And I think that, as I've said previously, that if there is a groundswell of support in favor of the ECAT, and if that can spread virally on social media, I think that it could be very beneficial to Rossi and his licensee. This is kind of, it's a David and Goliath story. Here we have brand new technology invented by one man who, has devoted his life to this, and he's come up with something that is superior to anything that's on the market at this point. And he's up against these great energy Goliaths. I think people could see that as saying, hey, this is a really great story, the underdog, everyone roots for the underdog. And I think that could be in his favor. If you get a groundswell of support in favor of the ECAT, that's going to influence the regulators, the politicians, because they obviously want to be popular. But it has to work. If it doesn't work, if there are problems with it, then obviously the concerns will be valid. But if it does work as it is advertised to, I think it would be very difficult to stop. And as we know, Andrea Rossi is a man of faith. As he said in this answer, I have faith. He has always put his faith in God, who he believes, I think he believes that he has a mission from God to bring this technology forth. And I don't think that he will be easily swayed from his mission. So those are a few thoughts of mine. We don't know yet when this is going to happen. He's been asked numerous times about, do you still think this is going to happen in 2025? And he says, yes. Today he even said, I still hope so. Personally, it wouldn't surprise me if the date slips back a bit. We've seen this before. My experience with Andrea Rossi is when he says he's going to do something publicly, he usually does it, but it doesn't necessarily happen exactly when he says it's going to happen. So, for example, the Latina test was supposed to happen in 2023. I think it was October, November 2023 is when he had initially said they were going to do it. They had a problem. They went back to the drawing board. And, there was a lot of disappointment at that point. But he did it. So I think this will be the same. If it slips a few months, I don't think that's a huge problem. It happens a lot when companies are launching new technologies. Their initial launch dates are often pushed back for one reason or another. So, I would love to see it happen this year, and I really hope it does. I think that would be tremendous news. But I've had over the years, I've had people ask me or just pose questions to ECAT believers. What are you going to do if this technology doesn't come out within 2 years? Are you going to give up on it? No, I'm not going to give up on it. I've believed in it since the beginning, and I still believe in it. And, things happen, things take time, and I have faith. I'm patient. I suppose I hope it happens in my lifetime, which I hope my lifetime is not that short, but we'll see. Anyway, those are a few of my thoughts for today. Thank you very much.